everyone. Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about budgeting. Now, this video is not an exhaustive video. It's not to provide any financial advice. It's just something that I know a lot of people are interested in, whether it's a New Year's resolution or just a goal that you've had for a while, learning how to budget or actually just putting it down on paper. So what we're going to do is just look at a simple budget template and complete the budget template, and then hopefully it'll help you or motivate you to do this if it's something that you're interested in. I started budgeting, I'd say now it's been about 5 years ago. And really it has changed my life. It's really helped me to focus in on where my money is going, and it's allowed me to boost my savings significantly. Now, the type of budget that I use personally is something called a zero-based budget. It's a zero-based budget. And the short of it is a zero-based budget is one in which your goal is to have every penny accounted for. So literally down to every cent that you make, having it accounted for in your budget. Okay. I also follow a rule. And again, there's plenty of rules out there. If you Google or search budgeting, you'll see a variety of rules. The one that I really try to stick to is something called, and I'll type it in here, it's called the 50, 30, 20 rule. Now, I know that with the economy being the way that it is and things constantly being, fluctuating, that this rule may not be possible for everybody. But again, part of the budgeting process is to set goals for yourself or to have some goals in mind to really help you to achieve, whether it's financial freedom or just help you to achieve whatever goals that you have set. So the 30, 50, 20 rule, it pretty much says that 50% of what you make, after taxes would go to the things that you need, your necessities. So that would be your mortgage payment, your rent payment, groceries, things that are essential for you to have. Then the 30% would go to your wants. So it's also called discretionary spending. So that's going to be your movies, going out to dinner, things that are just the things that you want. And then finally, 20% of your income would go to savings. Again, there's plenty of different rules out there, but I like this one because it's just simple and straight to the point. All right, so I will put a link to this particular spreadsheet in the comments or the description below. But again, it's just a basic spreadsheet. What I really like about budgeting, and again, the process, is that you will have your income to start with. You know what you bring in on a monthly basis. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go here and say that my income is $3,450, and that's my take-home income. Okay. Now down here, I would have the opportunity to put in my expenses. Again, this is a basic spreadsheet, but it can be very helpful. So I'm going to go ahead right now and put in my expenses, and I will be back to go over it. Okay, so I have my spreadsheet filled out, my budget worksheet filled out. And again, these are just numbers that work for me. Obviously, there's some things, that aren't going to work for you. For example, I don't have student loans. So I had them and I paid them off. So if you have student loans, then obviously you would enter that over here. So this is what my sheet came up to. And again, the purpose of it was just to account for every dollar. That's really the purpose of this, is to have every dollar accounted for. It doesn't matter if your expenses are twice as much as the ones that are shown here, or if you have, your rent is $1,600. Obviously, it does matter for your particular situation, but it doesn't really matter for your budgeting, because this is going to allow you to just see where every penny is spent. Now, we'll have other videos in terms of, potential ways to make additional money, and kind of explore some of those, because that's, if your income is your income, what you make is what you make. So the only other way to make more money is to obviously make money. So whether that's through side hustles or investments or something, is a way to generate money. All right, so what I want to do here is just quickly break down these numbers, but using the 50, 30, 20 rule. So I'm just going to pull up a calculator, and for these purposes, I want to go ahead and just make a column over here to the right for my calculations. So if my take home pay is $3,450, and I'm going to multiply it by 0.5. So according to the rule, the essentials, I'd have a budget of $1,750 for my needs. Now, again, you may be looking at this number and say, wow, that's my rent. And I know with the rent prices or the home prices going up the way that they have been, it's been horrible. But we're just going to follow the rule. We're just going to, for now, just look at what the rule says we'd be able to do here. Okay, we'll do our wants here. That's going to be 30%. So again, I take the same 3,450 times 30. So I would have 1035 for wants, and savings would be 20%. So I take the same 3,450. Okay, and would have 690 for savings. Okay, so according to the 50-30-20 rule, these would be the numbers that I would have, and then of course that would equal my total take-home pay right there. Okay, so looking at this, I like this particular budget sheet, the spreadsheet, because it breaks down both your expenses and then your savings breakdown. So I'm going to come down here, and again, this is just an example. So for here, we're going to pretend we have a car payment of $250. We will pretend that we have a rent payment of $850. And in most places, that means you either bought your home a couple years ago or you have a roommate, or some way to bring your rent down that much. Your utilities, so water, electric, $120 a month. School student debt would be $0. Credit card debt would be $0. And then I have groceries here at $460 a month. Spending money at $480 a month. And then a Lego collection. Let's say you maintain some type of a hobby or something that you do ongoing basis, then you put that over here. The spending money, again, remember, when you make your spreadsheet, it can be for whatever you want it to be. So that could be for dining out, that could be for hair, that could be for, one thing I didn't account for here would be gas. You're going to build yours the way that you want it to be built. And when you come here, total expenses you see on this spreadsheet would equal $2,310. Okay. Now, let's say your rent was higher. Again, you'd adjust it to, maybe it's $1,850. You adjust it as needed. All right, then whatever you have left over is going to be your total savings amount. So in this particular case, I have $1,140 in savings per month. And according to the 50-30-20 rule, I would need a minimum of $690 for savings. So obviously the savings amount is higher, and that's because my expenses are lower. Again, if I had children or a family or just a variety of other expenses, then it would obviously adjust. This is where I am now. There were times when if I were to complete the same spreadsheet, I would have, $100 in savings. So it's really just going to fluctuate. But the nice thing is just having it on paper to be able to visualize where your money's going. All right, so then where do I want to put my savings? So in this particular case, I would go ahead and put 40% in a savings account. So in my bank account, I have separate accounts, and this one would be for savings. So I know I'm going to direct $455 to that savings account. Then I'm going to go ahead and in another account, I'm going to put $400 for an emergency fund. Again, debt payoff, fortunately, that's already been paid. In the past, this was, I was aggressively paying off loans and paying off debt. So this in the past would have been, $600, $700, $800. And then a travel fund, thinking about doing some traveling, you save $285, and that accounts for your total savings. Okay. Can't stress enough. I know the numbers are going to vary. But what I really appreciate about this type of a spreadsheet is that it allows you to see, again, where your money's going. And I'm going to just go ahead and break it further down to the right. I'm going to go ahead and just break out one more column. And this column here is going to be what I'll consider just the long-term column. And I know I'm coming off the page here on the spreadsheet, so let me see if I can make it a little bit smaller. Now, the long-term column, it's going to have just what the same information looks like on an annual basis. Long-term annual. Okay. So quickly just format it here. Okay, so I'm going to come, and actually I'm going to take these same columns here. The title. So I can see a breakdown of where my money is going. All right, so I'm going to do just a little. I didn't really think this one through, so just a little sloppy Excel math here, or Google Sheets math here. I'll dump this number here. I'm going to come here, equals this times 12. Okay, bam. There we go. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go here. Pull this title, these titles here. Like I said, I know this isn't the best, but what's happening? Nope. I'm going to paste just the values. Okay, I know this looks a little bit of a mess, but you get the idea. Boy, okay. All right. So over here, you get the idea of this spreadsheet here. All right. So here I have the same columns from over here, the same titles. Boy, I spelled that wrong. All right, so now I have my same titles here for the different things, and then I have my long-term or annual amounts. And this was really eye-opening when I did it for myself, because what I was realizing at the time, my car payment was a lot higher than $250. And I looked over to the right and I said, wow, I spent $3,000 on a car for this year. And again, at the time, it was like double that. Then I looked at my rent and I said, okay, $10,200 for housing. And I went down the list, and I was able to really see where my money was going. So just by looking at it, and again, yours will have different categories and columns, even now I'm able to see here, wow, I spend $1,800 on Legos over the course of a year. So if I'm not satisfied with that number and I say, you know what, I really enjoy doing this, I want to spend more on it, or you know what, this is kind of a lot of money, I want to go ahead and spend, cut it in half. Just by looking at the numbers on paper, it allowed me to see where my money is going. You can make your spreadsheet as sophisticated as you want it to be. You just have to go ahead, and this particular one is pre-formatted to collect expenses like all the way down the list. And you just want to make sure that it's capturing the correct numbers. And you can go through and see, how much are you spending on coffee? How much are you spending on insurance? How much are you spending on discretionary activity? So again, this was just a quick run through of zero-based budgeting. Zero-based budgeting, again, just having your money come down to zero, have every penny of your income accounted for, and then using a 70-30-20 rule to see where your money should be going, and then of course adjusting it accordingly. The last tip or suggestion that I would have as you go through this, if there's ways that you can bring this in line, because more than likely with the way that inflation and prices have been going up, it's going to be hard to fit into a 50-30-20 rule. But obviously you'd adjust it accordingly, keeping that savings as a area of focus. So if your rule has to come down to, maybe 70, 20, 10, that might be what it has to be for a specific period of time until either your income increases or just the financial situation of our economy and inflation, all those things improve as well. So knowing that this is a flexible budget, put it down on paper and then try it for a couple, tweak it as needed, try it for a couple months and see how it works out for you. If you have any questions, please just put them in the comments below. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great day.